morning. Today, I want to share with you some hard facts, some basic truths that are deep, but when you hear them, they will seem as a simple connection. But upon further consideration and deeper insight, you will see a cloak of deception kind of lift from your mind and from your eyes. I live here in the land of Israel. To those indigenous to this land, we call the land Sham's land. I know in some of your books you don't know who Sham is, but Sham is the oldest firstborn son of Noah, to whom was given the proper birthright. He was the king of righteousness, the head of the family after Noah. Noah appointed him. The sons of Sham were all called Shami, the Shami people, right? So that term became a race. That race is called the Hebrew race. So all those who descend from Sham will live on his land and are considered of his race. The world then was divided into three parts, and everybody was given a designated portion. But they didn't go to their designated portions of land immediately. So you had the Euro and the Asian land portion, which stems from the UK all the way over to modern day Asia, China, Japan. It covers the northern regions, is what was given to them. Then, in the middle corridor, from India to the Nile River, you have Shem's portion, with a slight lower extremity to the south, and the great continent of Africa to the east. This was given to Ham and his sons. The race of the Hebrews is all of Sham's descendants, all of his children, so to speak. Abraham spoke and learned from Shem. The indigenous dialect of the time was Aramaic. It did not call it the Hebrew dialect. This term was coined by the translators because the translators called that race of people the Hebrews, or the Ibiru, coming out of Babylon. You can find this term on the Babylonian cuneiform tablets. The Ibiru people, it's not because of Eba or because of they crossed over something. These monikers were created to confuse and confound the people who were taken as slaves around the world into having a sort of confused identity crisis. An identity crisis that they will not affiliate themselves with the entire Arab nation. That they would confuse themselves to be not part of the Muslim world. I know I've taken a good 5 minutes of your time to explain something that appears simple, but the Hebrew is the race that you belong to. And the seed of Jacob that likes to be called Israel is your family or the house of your father. Because every time the family becomes great or large, it is then subdivided with new heads, righteous heads, to keep the family customs and traditions. What you are reading today in these versions of a Bible are jaded historical texts. They took historical texts and they kind of made it a book of spells or sorcery. But the spell is on you to confuse you, to confound you, to make you argue, and to put you against your brothers who only want peace for you. The customs and the traditions which Abraham learned and lived are still here and present today, but not among the Jewish community. The Jewish community still holds fast to their Chaldean roots. They are from Ur. Abraham spoke the source dialect of the language I am speaking to you in now. This Anglo-Saxon dialect comes from the Chaldean people. It is a Chaldean dialect. While Shem's dialect, the high dialect of understanding, remains as Aramaic. Abraham spoke both. Something to think about.